wherever you practice becomes your temple. Whether you're listening to these online or watching, wherever you practice is your temple, and a temple simply means a reminder of that which is sacred. And then it's said that there are only two things. In Zen they put it this way: you sit and you tend the garden, and it doesn't matter how big the garden is. Like breathing in and breathing out. You quiet the mind and open the heart. That's your inner practice. And then you get up from your sitting and you go out into the garden of the world and you bring your gifts of love, of clarity, of compassion, of courage, of integrity, of all the gifts that come through your tending of the heart. And you tend the garden of the world. That's simple, breathing in and breathing out. And so we've done half of the training here, and really getting you prepared to go out. But it matters how you do it also. As we've been talking about, when I was in Washington, D.C., I was there for the March for Our Lives. And there were 800,000 people in Pennsylvania Avenue, and there were the big stage and Emma Gonzalez and people speaking very passionately. But the thing that was most wonderful was how civil it was. There were babies and balloons and pretzels, and there were people all dressed up in different ways, and there was this feeling of care and celebration along with standing up for what mattered. And those two together were kind of, were more compelling than, the shouting and so forth. This from Molly Ivins, who was a great political activist and writer and various other things. She wrote, "So keep fighting for freedom and justice, beloveds, but don't forget to have fun doing it. Be outrageous, rejoice in all the oddities freedom can produce, and when you get through celebrating the sheer joy of a good fight and transforming the world, make sure to tell those who followed you how much fun you had." I mean, it's a very different way of approaching what it means to stand up and enter into the world. Because if you go to a refugee camp, and my wife, beloved Trudy, and I went down to Tijuana recently to the two biggest migrant shelters down there, a women's shelter and a men's shelter. One of the teachers at Inside LA at her center had started teaching compassion, mindfulness, making your heart peaceful to these whole group of migrants. And we wanted to join in with them and see what was happening. And if you go into a place where people are in great difficulty and you're depressed and you're sad, or you're worried and frightened and so forth, you're not very helpful and they're not all that interested. You've got to bring a little hope, baby. You actually have to go and say, this is not the end of the story. And what was beautiful, the men's shelter, they were able to actually, because people were going to be there for some months, there was great services, legal services, health services, some education things, trying to help them. And they were helping them get temporary work in Tijuana so that they could both save a little bit of money to decide what to do and also feel meaningful. And there was a sense of dignity in there that you wouldn't have expected. It doesn't take that much for a human being. It really doesn't. Just given a little opportunity. So there's some way in which we bring our gifts to the world. We bring it through our heart. We bring it through the steadiness in ourselves. And then people say, well, how do I keep my meditation practice steady at home when I sit? This is from Laurie Chapman. She writes, "I like nothing more in the world than sitting on my ass doing nothing. And it's not my fault that I have this attitude because I happen to have an amazingly comfortable ass. It may not look like much, but if you could sit on this baby for 2 minutes, you'd realize that getting up off this ass would be a crime against nature." right? So it's not a grim duty. You want to actually sit and look for the moments of well-being or peacefulness or how you know, in between all the emotional storms and the thoughts, how you have those moments you go, wow, it's mysterious, isn't it? Or, wow, it's a really big, as somebody said, it's this, you know, cosmological perspective where you step back and say, how's it going? Well, you know, here we are. And you start to rest and trust loving awareness rather than grasping after something. And you allow a certain amount of joy. The Buddha's instructions are live in joy even among the troubles, even among the difficulties of the world. That's part of the gift that you bring. Or as Guillaume Apollinaire wrote, now and then it's good to pause in your pursuit of happiness and just be happy. And it changes things when you do. Now, as you do, then it empowers you. As Thomas Jefferson said, one person with courage is a majority. And I had for a long time on my refrigerator a picture of that Chinese man with the shopping bags standing in front of the long line of tanks around the Tiananmen Square time. He was just coming home from the grocery store, but he couldn't let that happen. One person with courage is a majority. And Lewis Mumford goes on, he says, a person of courage never needs weapons, but they may need bail. Right? That's how it works, you know. So you come to the temple, you quiet yourself, you learn how to do this and you practice, and you need support. Come back to Spirit Rock or find a sitting group in your community or go online and get teachings or whatever. It's very hard to do on your own because you forget and you lose it. But if you have people that you sit with, they remind you. Or if they forget, you remind them. We need one another to do this. Community is incredibly helpful and important. Find a regular time and place is usually helpful. And remember that you're planting seeds, that you don't see the fruit of it sometimes, but as Thoreau said, if you show me that you've got a real seed there and you plant and water it, I'm prepared to expect miracles. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You plant the seeds, this is the explanation of karma, that the world works by the seeds that we plant and the seeds that we water and tend. And what you tend in your own heart and in the world around you, that is what will grow.